Project Penetrator, America's secret nuclear stealth drone revealed. The black world of U.S. drone warfare. For decades, the United States has led the world in unmanned aerial vehicle (UAV) technology. From the early Predator drones over Afghanistan to the high-altitude Global Hawks, American drones have evolved from surveillance platforms into lethal strike machines. But behind the classified walls of the Pentagon and the deep black budgets of U.S. defense contractors lies something far more ominous: Project Penetrator. Recently declassified documents, whistleblower leaks, and satellite imagery suggest that the U.S. may be preparing to unleash a nuclear-capable stealth drone unlike anything the world has ever seen. Designed to slip through the most advanced air defense networks, deliver devastating payloads, and return unseen, Project Penetrator might just represent the next stage of nuclear deterrence. Origins in the shadows. Birth of Project Penetrator. Project Penetrator allegedly began under the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency DARPA in the early 2010s, amid growing fears that existing strategic bombers, like the B-2 Spirit and the aging B-52, would be increasingly vulnerable to next-generation surface-to-air missile systems being fielded by China and Russia. According to leaked defense budgetary data, funds were quietly diverted to a next-generation long-range stealth UAV initiative, buried in the line items of the Air Force's classified R&D expenditures. Industry insiders from Lockheed Martin and Northrop Grumman hinted at a program that merged hypersonic glide body concepts, autonomous AI strike coordination, and radar-absorbing morphing airframes. Design: sleek, silent, and deadly. What does Project Penetrator look like? Satellite imagery taken over Groom Lake, also known as Area 51, reveals a large, delta-wing craft with no visible cockpit, spanning roughly 70 feet and bearing no discernible tail surfaces. Analysts say the design borrows from the cranked kite layout seen in early conceptual drawings of the B-21 Raider, but even more radical in its minimal radar cross-section. Stealth experts believe the drone is constructed from advanced radar-absorbent materials, RAM, that adapt their absorption frequency in real time, depending on radar threats. It also appears to use plasma stealth tech, generating a weak ionized gas around its leading edges to further obscure its radar profile. The aircraft's surface is seamless, indicating no standard hatches or service panels, suggesting an emphasis on autonomous operation with minimal human interaction. Heat signature suppression via internalized exhaust and active cooling systems mean it could fly at high subsonic speeds and stay invisible to infrared sensors. Nuclear strike capability confirmed? What truly sets Project Penetrator apart from other UAVs is its suspected nuclear payload capability. Defense analysts point to its internal weapons bay, which appears large enough to accommodate a compact B-61-13 variable-yield nuclear bomb, recently upgraded for stealth aircraft integration. Sources within the Department of Energy's National Nuclear Security Administration have refused to comment, but circumstantial evidence from Sandia National Labs contracts and Los Alamos flight simulation tests suggest integration trials began as early as 2018. With a flight range of over 9,000 miles, satellite-guided AI navigation, and terrain-following radar, the drone could potentially launch from U.S. soil, fly undetected over the Arctic or Pacific, and deliver a surgical nuclear strike deep inside adversary territory, all without endangering a single American pilot. AI Brain, the machine that thinks like a commander. Project Penetrator isn't just about stealth, it's about autonomy. The heart of this machine is believed to be a next-generation combat AI called ATHENA, Autonomous Threat Engagement and Navigation Algorithm. Developed in conjunction with DARPA and Palantir, ATHENA reportedly allows the drone to navigate complex air defense corridors, identify and prioritize targets in real time, assess environmental variables like weather or radar density, communicate with other UAVs and satellites via quantum-encrypted laser communication. This AI could allow the drone to coordinate with other assets like hypersonic missiles or F-35s, adapting in mid-mission to dynamic combat scenarios. Some sources even speculate the drone can self-destruct to prevent capture or reroute to secondary targets if the primary strike becomes impossible. The ghost that's already flying. Though the Pentagon has never officially acknowledged the program, multiple credible sightings and intercepts by foreign radar operators have surfaced. In late 2023, Russian early warning radar allegedly picked up an object moving at subsonic speeds but with no radar reflection, just a thermal trail. The object reportedly veered near Russian airspace before vanishing. Why build it? The strategic need. The reason behind such a platform is clear. China and Russia are closing the gap in anti-access/area denial, A2/AD systems. China's DF-21D carrier killer missiles, S-500 Russian air defenses, and jamming technologies increasingly limit the effectiveness of traditional bombers and cruise missiles. The U.S. needed a system that could guarantee second strike capability even in a cyber-contested, GPS-denied, hypersonic-saturated war zone. A stealth nuclear drone offers that: deterrence with no risk to human pilots, no need for foreign basing rights, and no exposure to early detection. The ethical dilemma: robots with the bomb. Despite its tactical brilliance, Project Penetrator poses enormous ethical and legal challenges. If a machine can launch a nuclear strike, who makes the decision to kill? Defense Department officials insist that human authorization is required for any nuclear release, even by autonomous platforms. However, critics warn that once the drone is airborne and in autonomous mode, there may be scenarios where its AI must act faster than any human can approve. International treaties like the New START and the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty never accounted for autonomous nuclear drones, raising serious questions about accountability, command control, and escalation risk. The future: deploying the undeployable. If Project Penetrator enters full deployment, it could redefine nuclear doctrine. Instead of relying on ICBMs vulnerable to first strikes or manned bombers that require tanker support, the U.S. could launch stealth drones from any NATO airbase or even aircraft carriers retrofitted with electromagnetic catapults. Final thoughts: the balance tips again. In an age where deterrence rests not just on firepower but on stealth, survivability, and speed, Project Penetrator could represent the most dangerous aircraft ever built. Not because of its weaponry, but because it could strike silently, instantly, and autonomously. Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more captivating content on our YouTube channel.